let's discuss a new problem related to array because this complete series is regarding the arrays only. So let's discuss an array. So we have a problem. Given n range, find the maximum appearing element in the range. But the most important thing in this range is that the range is not a simple a number. We have a two array, and in that two array, the L of 0, which is if you see on the screen, L of 0 that is 1 and R of 0 that is 3. That is our range. Means 1 to 3 there are elements and we have to find out, and again 2 to 5 we have in a range, 3 to 7 we have in a range, and in those three ranges if elements are appearing more than the frequency of other element, then we call this as the maximum appearing element in the range. And this what should we find in the uh, in couple of minutes later. So that's the problem. So before going through the dry run which I already write over here, I want to first tell you about what are the ways to solve the problem by using knife solution and any of the solution. Basically, if we consider a knife solution, what is a simple task we do? We take the L of 0th and R of 0th and we create a two for loop and we check that if that particular element how many times it is occurring, and we create one variable for that and we just increment that variable and storing into the array itself. So that is one way. But again, that way will take care, we take the n into m complexity time. For example, left array have n elements and right array have m elements, then total time complexity which we are getting through this knife solution is n into m, which is if we consider worst case scenario, then it is big of n into m. And it is like somehow we are or something we are trying to figure out a dynamic problem, but it is not like so. So we have to think a little bit that what are the other ways to find out the solution of this problem if given and two arrays as a range, and we have to find the elements those who are occurring in that array, and we have to find the most frequent element in these ranges. So let's see what I already did before recording this video. I already solved the problem, and by like 2-3 problem I gone through, and then after that I think that this problem fit to this solution which takes a hash mapping whenever. And also one important point, the this type of question are frequently asked in interviews. Like if you go into any interviews of coding, this type of array based questions are frequently asked. So what are the solution? So we are just taking a hash map. So what is hash map basically? If you are a computer science student, and otherwise if you're not also, then you listen this video carefully. And if you are the computer science student, you can basically know about hash table, that is in data structure. We learn about hash table that there is a one key and there is a one moduli function to respect to that key, and whenever we found out the element and we find out the mod of that element with the key, and wherever that particular index is coming, we put that element into that index. So that is our hash table. So what is hash mapping basically? Hash mapping is something like when we find out the element, we are coming into the next we are actually create an array, and in that array we create all the elements are zeros. We assign all the elements are zeros, and afterwards whenever we found out that element is present in that array, we just increment that element by 1. The same logic I applied here, but by using prefix sum problem. First I gone through the left sum array, sorry, left, not left sum, that is left array, and I just incremented 1 2 3. As you see, 1 here, 1 2 and 3. These three elements are incremented by 1. Initially they are 0, but after going through that L of R, I incremented them by 1. After that I again go through the r of capital R, which is this array. And after going through this array, I again increment by 1 and decrement by -1. Why I did that? Because I have to nullify that whatever I incremented, so that number of times the element occur in that particular range is appear only once, not a twice or not a double. And after that I use a prefix sum, means array of I is equal to array of I plus array of I minus 1, but I did on the hash array. And if I do so, I get to the index the number of times, or what we say, that frequency of that number into that particular index, and that number is our index. And when we return that, output is 3. So let's code it. If you got it or not, just stay tuned, stick to the problem. Whenever I code it, I again explain what I'm doing actually. If you not what I blah blah I'm talking about, if you not understood anything, then just stick to the code. After going through the code, you can understand better. So let's code it. Let int max occur. We require left array, then we require right array, and number of elements in that array. Basically, if we have a 2 array and we consider them as a range, then we want both the array size equal. Otherwise, if the initial number is given and the last number is not given, then it goes to infinity. So that's why the range should be considered when those arrays are of equal size. So let's code it. So here we consider that our range is up to the 1000. You can consider anything if it is given in the problem, if it not so. And this time I'm considering vector int array of 1000 elements. Vector int array of 1000 elements. Why I'm considering 1000? Because it is not given. And why I'm considering vector? Because what is the main advantage of vectors? That we don't have to initialize anything automatically. All the elements are initialized to 0. That's the main or a very important criteria in the vector, that it is already initialized. So after that, I have to use I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Then I just increment array of L of I plus plus an array of R of I plus 1 and then minus minus. By doing so, I here created a not two array actually, the one array, but there are two operations on that one array. So after doing so, I get the number of times they are present in that particular range, that is hash mapping. And after that, I have to assign max is equal to array of 0. That's it. And int result is equal to 0, because we want to return it, because return type is int. Then for int I is equal to 1, I less than, let's say 1000, because we are considering hash map in this prefix sum. So I plus plus, then array of I plus equal to array of I minus 1, and if max is less than array of I, our max is array of 0. So if that is less, so by hand we are considering also max element, and assign that max is equal to array of I, and result is equal to I. The first for loop is used for the incrementing the L of ith element, means if there is a 1, then 1, that index 1 is incremented by 1, that is it come as a 1. After that, L of R of I plus 1 means already that number is occurred, but to nullify that thing, I have to minus minus, means I just did minus 1 to that. And after that, I just use prefix sum in previous video, in previous two videos. What I did that actually I'm coding here. So prefix sum as a tool I am using here. So max is less than array of I, max is equal to array of I. If max is less, then whatever the whichever the element is greater, I am just assigning to that to the max, and result is equal to I. And after that, return result. That's it. So number of, so first I have to print that give L of array, then one for loop I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and then C in L of I. That's it. Then I have to print that give R of I. That's it. So two arrays we are taking here, and after that we have to assign answer variable max occur L comma L comma R comma N. Answer is so let's run the code and check whatever we are getting. So first for loop, then array of I plus array of I minus 1, and then comparing the max element with array of each element, then return index, then I think everything is fine. So we are taking in finding out L of I, R of I, then just run it. I think it gives so many errors. We are messing up here so many times, I think. Okay, we are not declaring anything. That's why it is throwing error. We are not declaring anything, but we are using that. Now let's see by running the code. L is declare, array declare, L is declare, then no, we don't need array here because to array already we are taking. So let's see, running the code again. Again it is messing. Lot of mess up. I think I did lot of blunders in code. Let's see what are that. Cannot convert a std vector into int. Okay. Then next is array of I. Okay, we are considering here array. We are comparing array of I with array of I minus 1. Max is equal to array of 0. What is the problem? Okay, let's take int only instead of vector. Then running the code. Let's see. Enter the number of elements is 3. So that is 1, 2, 3. Give R, that is 3, 5, 7. Answer is 3. So as our output should be 3 and we are getting answer is 3, so our code is run successfully. So like, share, subscribe if you like my effort. Stay tuned, stay blessed, keep coding.